From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang, and here are the news. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. challenged newly promoted Philippine Coast Guard or PCG officers to lead with purpose and serve with courage in their continued defense of Philippine waters. During the PCG officers' oath-taking ceremony at the Malacañang Palace in Manila, President Marcos stressed the Coast Guard's important role in defending the country's maritime domain through patrols and partnerships with foreign allies such as the US and Japan. President Marcos told the PCG that his administration was determined to improve its personnel's capabilities through modern vessels, new technologies, and support systems. He stated that the Comprehensive Social Benefits Program and the Free Legal Assistance for Military and Uniformed Personnel Act are two of his administration's initiatives to assist PCG personnel, including those facing charges stemming from incidents while performing their official duties. President Marcos praised the PCG's efforts to continue serving as a trusted guardian of peace and justice at sea. He described the reaction to the Mount OMT Terra Nova oil spill as a defining moment for the Coast Guard as it coordinated quickly, acted decisively, and prevented future damage to the country's marine ecosystems. According to President Marcos, the PCG conducted over 2.7 million inspections between January 2024 and March 2025, spanning pre-departure checks, vessel safety, emergency preparation, and port state control. President Marcos also praised the PCG for enforcing environmental standards by inspecting roughly 18,000 vessels and installations and conducting 555 shore-based patrols to ensure that individuals operating in the Philippines' maritime domain always respect those waters. He said that approximately 600 people have been held accountable for illegal marine activities as a result of the PCG's 33,000 sea marshalling actions.
Behind every inspection is a promise that every Filipino who sets sail will return home safely. Nearly 45,000 seaborne missions and over 3.1 million square nautical miles of patrols show both the scale of your responsibility and the depth of your determination. And in moments when lives hang in the balance, you have proven time and again, the Coast Guard is there. The Coast Guard never turns away. You have responded to over 2,000 maritime incidents and rescued nearly 4,500 individuals. Each one tells a story of survival because someone in uniform answered the call. But perhaps nowhere is your presence more crucial than in the West Philippine Sea. Your continued patrols across the Kalayaan Island Group, the Philippine Rise, other maritime zones reaffirm our unwavering commitment to our sovereign rights. What you are doing is not only protecting territory. What you are doing is not only protecting citizens. You are defining for the rest of the world the territory of the Republic of the Philippines. And having done so, you are defending that territory. That is the importance of what the job has become for Philippine Coast Guard. The missions are declarations. We will always stand for what is ours, and we will do so with dignity, with integrity, but with strength. To further support this mission, you have conducted 130 maritime patrols and domain awareness activities. You likewise distributed 36 high-speed rigid boats across PCG districts, reinforcing our rapid deployment and interdiction capabilities. You now wear stars on your shoulders. May these remind you to embrace with humility, to lead with purpose, and to serve with courage. In a time of global instability and rising maritime tensions, we look to you together with the Philippine Navy, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, to stand the ground in stormy seas and never waver in what is right. This administration stands with you to boost your capabilities to advance vessels through new technologies and to support systems which reflect the scale and the urgency of your work.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang emphasized the importance of regular and required drug testing for public utility vehicle or PUV drivers to guarantee road safety. Philippine Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro made the announcement in a press briefing. This comes as Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon said on Monday that all PUV drivers will have to take drug tests every 6 months as part of a tighter statewide road safety plan. Castro supported a recent directive stating that it is vital to prevent a recurrence of deadly vehicle accidents in the country. Castro hoped that the new policy would not be perceived as a money-making strategy.
Dapat pong pag-aralan kasi ito po ay kailangan din po. Tandaan po natin ang inaalagaan po dito yung safety po ng commuters, ng mga passengers, ng mga tao na gumagamit ng kalsada. Including na rin po yung mga drivers. Hindi po ito basta-basta maaaring sabihin na huwag na lang gawin kung ito naman po ay makakasama sa safety. So, pag-aaralan pa rin po ito at huwag naman po agad nating husgahan na ito ay isang money-making device or strategy.
In response to recent catastrophic vehicular accidents, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. vowed to pursue reforms in the country's transportation systems.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered an immediate probe into the installation and purchase of bollards or vehicle barriers at Ninoy Aquino International Airport or NAIA Terminal 1. This comes after a sad incident that killed 2 persons during a press briefing at the Malacañang Palace. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro verified that the bollards, which failed to stop an SUV that rammed into people outside Terminal 1, had been installed in 2019 during the administration of former President Rodrigo Duterte and under the leadership of then Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade. She stated that President Marcos had directed concerned agencies to evaluate the procurement procedure and determine whether the specifications utilized during the installation satisfied safety requirements. The deadly tragedy outside Terminal 1 over the weekend has sparked public outrage and heightened criticism of government infrastructure initiatives. Surveillance footage shows the SUV blow past the metal barriers with little resistance before striking several onlookers, killing 2, including a 5-year-old child.
Nakakalungkot po, may mga nasawi dahil sa di umanong depektibo na bollards na na-install po sa NAIA Terminal 1. At ito po ay na-install sa panahon po ng dating administrasyon at sa panahon po ng ni Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade. Ngayon po ay pinag-iimbestigahan. Ito po ay July 2019 nung na-install po ang mga ito. Pinag-iimbestigahan na po paano po ang naging procurement pati yung specifications. Yun po ay sa pag-uutos po ng Pangulo at ito po ay tutugunan kaagad-agad ni Secretary Vince Dizon. At pati po ang pag-inspect sa mga bollards at ang mabilisang pagpapalit po dito para sa safety po ng nakakarami.
Meanwhile, the Manila International Authority or MIAA, MIA, pointed out that the bollards were not installed deep enough. MIAA General Manager Eric Ines in an interview said the airport operator, New NAIA Infra Corporation or NNIC, is presently looking for a solution. Ines explained that MIAA could only provide suggestions. He also stated that in the meanwhile, he had ordered the deployment of more police officers to the Terminal 1 departure area. Meanwhile, according to Ines, the NNIC and other government agencies have provided assistance to the crash victims. He stated, That NNIC President Ramon Ang's daughter, Cecil, accompanied the victims. The NNIC already agreed to cover their medical expenditures.
Dateline Malacañang.
In related news, the Philippine Department of Migrant Workers or DMW, Secretary Hans Leo Cacdac has given full government support to the grieving family of the 4-year-old daughter of an overseas Filipino worker or OFW who was killed in a vehicle accident at Ninoy Aquino International Airport or NAIA Terminal 1 on May 4. In a televised broadcast, Cacdac stated that he personally offered condolences to OFW Danmark Soriano Masongsong for the death of his child Malia and provided basic aid. Masongsong works as an assembly line operator in the Czech Republic and was about to leave on Sunday to return to work abroad after a 3-week holiday with his family when the catastrophe struck. Cacdac stated that Masongsong last saw his daughter approximately 3 years ago. He stated that the Department of Migrant Workers or DMW has already provided Masongsong and his family with a psychosocial treatment as well as spiritual therapy from a Catholic priest and a Christian pastor. Masongsong revealed that his wife, who is currently in serious condition in the hospital, is unaware of their child's death. Cacdac stated that Masongsong's wife is still in the intensive care unit but is in stable health. Meanwhile, the OFW's mother, who was also hurt in the event, is conscious but unable to walk owing to leg injuries. And a 7-year-old niece has been released from the hospital but is still being monitored for head trauma. In addition to government support, he stated that NAIA Infrastructure Corporation President Ramon Ang has covered hospital and funeral expenses and is offering more financial assistance. Meanwhile, he stated that the DMW's Migrant Workers Office has already communicated with Masongsong's employer. He did, however, state that Masongsong's return abroad has yet to be determined. Cacdac, for his part, emphasized the government's commitment to achieving justice while the DMW closely follows the inquiry into the incident.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang said Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s economic initiatives to cut commodity prices resulted in the lowest headline inflation in April of this year. This comes as Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro welcomed the Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA's most recent report, which showed that the country's inflation rate fell further to 1.4% in April 2025, down from 1.8% in March and the lowest since November 2019. According to the PSA report, the average inflation rate from January to April 2025 was 2%, which is comfortably within the government's target range of 2 to 4%. The decrease in overall inflation last month was caused by a slower increase in food and non-alcoholic beverage prices, which rose to 0.9% from 2.2% in March 2025. National food inflation fell dramatically to 0.7% in April 2025, down from 2.3% in March. The reduced food inflation was owing to a faster year-on-year reduction in the rice index of 10.9%, as well as lower inflation rates in vegetables, tubers, plantains, frying bananas, and pulses of 2.3%. Another factor contributing to reduced inflation, according to the PSA, was a faster year-on-year fall in the transport index, which was at 2.1% from 1.1% in March 2025. Despite the decreased trend in inflation, the Marcos administration, according to the Department of Economy, Planning and Development, would continue to constantly monitor basic commodity prices and implement measures to reduce inflationary pressures.
At malugod ko pong ibinabalita na kanina ay inulat ng Philippine Statistics Authority na bumagal sa 1.4% ang ating headline inflation rate o ang pagtaas ng presyo ng mga produkto at serbisyo sa bansa nitong Abril mula 1.8% nitong Marso. Ito na rin ang pinakamababang inflation rate na naitala sa bansa simula noong Nobyembre 2019 na nasa 1.2%. mula Enero hanggang Abril 2025, nasa 2% naman ang average inflation rate. Ayon sa PSA, bumaba ang inflation rate dahil sa mas mabagal na pagtaas ng presyo ng food at non-alcoholic beverages na sa 0.9%. Ito rin ang pangalawa sa may pinakamalaking share sa pangkalahatang inflation sa bansa. Nakatulong din ang pagbaba ng presyo ng transport na nasa negative 2.1%, bunsod ito ng mabilis na pagbaba ng presyo ng gasolina. Ang pagbaba ng inflation rate ay patunay na patuloy ang pagsisikap ng Pangulong Marcos Jr. at ng administrasyon na palakasin ang ating ekonomiya.
Philippine Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang celebrated the inclusion of 2 Philippine beaches in the world's 50 Best Beaches 2025 list, highlighting the country's natural beauty and rising reputation as a top beach destination. Entalula Beach in El Nido, Palawan came in second, while Bonbon Beach in Romblon finished 38th, an accomplishment heartily applauded by the Marcos administration. In a press briefing, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro cited the postcard-perfect limestone cliffs and crystal clear waters of Entalula, as well as the peaceful appeal of Bonbon Beach Sandbar as examples of the country's world-class island offers. She stated that the recognition supports the administration's National Tourism Development Plan 2023 to 2028 and the Department of Tourism or DOT's Love the Philippines campaign, both of which promote sustainable travel and cultural preservation.
Pinagmamalaki ng Department of Tourism ang pagkakasama ng Entalula Beach sa El Nido, Palawan na number 2 at Bonbon Beach sa Romblon na number 38 sa World's 50 Best Beaches 2025 list. Ang pagkilalang ito ay patunay na kahanga-hanga ang ganda ng Pilipinas at sa ating global standing bilang isa sa mga pinagmamalaking beach destination sa buong mundo. Mula sa mala postcard na limestone cliffs at malinaw na tubig ng Entalula hanggang sa tanyag na sandbar at tahimik na alindog ng Bonbon Beach, tunay na pinapakita ng ating mga isla ang pinakamaganda sa ating bansa. Kasabay ng mga layunin ng Marcos administration sa ilalim ng National Tourism Development Plan 2023-2028, at sa pamamagitan ng kampanyang Love the Philippines, patuloy ang DOT sa pagsusulong ng sustainable tourism hindi lang para sa ating coastal destinations, kundi para rin sa pag-unlad ng ating mga komunidad at pagtaguyod ng ating national heritage.
The world's 50 Best Beaches website ranked the beaches based on 8 criteria: distinctiveness, wildlife, pristine conditions, nature's soundtrack, ease of entry, quiet waves, undisturbed tranquility, and consistently idyllic. Entalula Beach received praise for its amazing seclusion and striking limestone cliffs that provide a stunning and dramatic backdrop to its wide sandy shores. Meanwhile, Bonbon Beach on Romblon Island is known for its unique natural sandbar that extends out to Bangug Island. The sandbar is visible to or at low tide and allows visitors to walk across the shallow clear seas to the adjoining island. The website also described the beach as undeveloped, preserving its serene and unspoiled charm. The beach is thin and white and the water is quite clear, making for ideal swimming conditions without large waves. Bonbon Beach, as a lesser-known area, provides a calm refuge in comparison to other tourist-heavy spots.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang announced that the Pag-ibig Fund's multi-purpose loan or MPL has been upgraded, allowing members to borrow more and qualify for cash loans sooner. Undersecretary of the Philippine Presidential Communications and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro made a statement during a press briefing welcoming the loan program's advancements. Castro said that the improved MPL allows qualified members to borrow up to 90% of their total Pag-ibig regular savings, up from the previous 80%. She further stated that members with improved regular savings can qualify for a greater loan because loan entitlement is directly proportional to total savings. According to Castro, increased loan amounts and faster eligibility apply to all Pag-ibig short-term loan programs, including health and education loan programs or HELPS and the calamity loan. She said that active members with 12 months of Pag-ibig contributions can now apply for a loan rather than previous 24-month threshold.
Isa pa pong good news para sa miyembro ng Pag-ibig. Dala ng patuloy na pagtugon sa mga pangangailangan ng mga miyembro, mas pinalaki at pinadali na ng pag-qualify sa Pag-ibig Multipurpose Loan. Sa ilalim ng mas pinag-igting o pinagbuting Pag-ibig MPL, maaari nang makahiram ang mga miyembro ng hanggang 90% ng kanilang kabuuang Pag-ibig regular savings, mas mataas ng 12.5% kumpara sa dating 80%. Para sa mga miyembro, dinagdagan at in-upgrade ang kanilang regular savings, lalo pang tataas ang kanilang loan amount dahil nakabase sa kanilang ipon ang kanilang mahihiram. Sa kabuuan, mas malaki ang maaari matanggap ng mga miyembro mula sa MPL upang lalong makatugon sa kanilang pangangailangan. Ang mga pagbabagong ito, gaya ng mas mataas na halaga at mas mabilis na eligibility ay ipatutupad din sa ibang short-term loan programs ng Pag-ibig tulad ng health and education loan programs at calamity loan. Pinaiksi na rin ang panahon para maging eligible ang mga miyembro sa pag-avail ng loan. Maaari nang mag-loan ang mga aktibong miyembrong may 12 buwang hulog sa Pag-ibig na mas mabilis ito kumpara sa dating requirement na 24 na buwan. Dahil dito, mas maaga ang maka-access ang mga ng pondo ang mas nakakaraming miyembro para sa kanilang mga agarang pangangailangan.
Philippine Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, for Dateline Malacañang, in a landmark step to improve the business climate in the Philippines, the Anti-Red Tape Authority or ARTA kicked off on May 5 the first celebration of Ease of Doing Business or EODB month. ARTA Director General Secretary Ernesto Perez affirmed ARTA's full and proactive compliance with President Marcos's directive to streamline and digitalize all government services, describing it as the most effective tool in combating red tape and corruption.
Maigpit po ang direktiba ng ating mahal na Pangulo for all government processes to be streamlined and digitalized. Ito po napatunayan natin na ito po ang pinaka-epektibong paraan para labanan ang red tape at corruption in the process. Marami na po tayong data that will show this. For example po, yung electronic business one-stop shop that we are really pushing na lahat ng local government units must be compliant with. In fact, out of 1,642 local government units, we have already recognized 115 local government units.
The celebration aligns with Proclamation Number 818 signed by Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on March 4, 2025, which declared May of every year as Ease of Doing Business Month. The presidential proclamation also marks a significant milestone in the country's reform agenda for streamlined, transparent, and efficient governance. With the theme Red Tape to Red Carpet, Better Business Movement in a Bagong Pilipinas, ARTA highlights the administration's commitment to citizen-centric and business-friendly public service. Perez said the initiative reflects the growing collaboration among government business chambers and international partners. The business sector is very upbeat about the prospects for the Philippines, Perez said, citing active support from the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, and the Philippine Exports Confederation. The month-long campaign includes a virtual shipbuilding orientation with with the Department of Transportation and Danish Embassy, and a nationwide inspection of frontline services from May 13 to 15 to assess improvements in LGUs and national agencies.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that is all for today's Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Bea Gaza-de Guzman.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.